to pray for their local fire, police officers, and governmental leaders. Well, one of the things when Russell called me, I said, well, pastors have to fit into that too, because they are the germane leaders in our community. They have the heartbeat of the people. So we've been working diligently with all of the leaders in Los Angeles County, the DA, the city attorney, the police chief, the sheriff, all these people, to get the names of all of their people in their departments and give them out to the churches so each individual person in the church can pray for their leader in their city. To ask God's mercy and grace and protection upon them and ask them to flourish in their life. By that, Russell came up with a program to impact the crime problem in Los Angeles, which I think is innovating, and I'll let him tell you about it.
Well, it's the scholarship program for youth at risk, and it's funded through the inkjet and toner cartridge program that we have. We're not asking anyone for money. We're not going to companies in that way, but what we are going to companies for are for them to give us their inkjet and toner cartridges that are empty, and then we turn that into funds for scholarships for young people, and it's flourishing very, very well now. We have the Los Angeles Police Department Protective League that's working with us. The Rotary clubs are working with us. Incidentally, I belong to the Simi Valley Sunset Rotary, of which are working with us, and they're reaching out in a major way to help this program to give scholarships to young people. We have the Boeing Company. The Boeing Company is very excited about it, and they're doing some things that I won't tell you about. They said don't say anything yet. So, but it's very good. So I'm very excited about that because so many people are coming together. It was actually President Reagan that said, we're too great a nation to limit ourselves to small dreams. And so that's why we're dreaming for 20,000 scholarships in our area by by 2007. By 2007, and we're well on our way of actually doing that. We not only pray for that, we have 50,000 people that are signed up members right now that are doing the praying, but we have those also that are participating and bringing their inkjet and toner cartridges to us through their churches. Through different churches, they are getting their congregations to bring in those inkjet and toner cartridges, which creates a financial stream that is absolutely wonderful for the scholarship program.
Now that's an absolute blessing. So when they bring you the cartridges, you refill them?
We turn it into funds for the scholarship. It's not that we do the recycling ourselves. We have to take that to certified companies, because in handling toner cartridges or anything like that, it has to be through certified companies. And so that's what we're doing.
And they take care of you and help fund the program. Oh, this is a really good thing.
It is.
We got to talk.
The way that I think of it is this way. Today, so many budgets are overloaded. They're overloaded, and everybody's not able to do things that way. But I think of it, as Ken says sometimes, it likens unto the years ago when they looked at that messy black stuff on the ground, which was oil at that time. Well, that's the way people look at these inkjet cartridges, because there are 400 million inkjet and toner cartridges that are thrown away every year. Every year, and only 7% are recycled. And just imagine it goes from 50 cents to $28
I'm going to call you George Washington Carver. He started that peanut thing. You go on with your ink cartridge stuff. You know?
Believe me. And it's an amazing, and if you add up 400 million times those numbers that I gave you, and that will put a lot of scholarships into the lot of hands of young people at risk. And that's what this whole program is about, reaching out to young people in the community.
Oh my God, bless your heart. Ooh, go ahead. Okay, now,
next, but certainly not least, is Ken Kraft from the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. And I just met with Ken and another gentleman, John Rafkin, Thursday morning for breakfast. And Ken heads the rescue mission. This is all a part of the essential part of the problem in the valley. As we know, there's 10 to 12,000 homeless people a day in the valley. I think that's far too great a number, and we are far too richer of a community to have that happen. So we are working desperately with the San Fernando Valley Clergy Planning Committee to partner and collaborate with Ken to see if we can find properties around the valley where landowners can lease the property to the churches. We can revitalize the property. We can house people. We can put in bona fide programs that can minister to the hearts of single mothers and homeless children, and really make give some hope to some people that otherwise wouldn't have it. So I'll let Ken talk about his program, but amen.
Well, I think the most important thing is for people to realize the fastest growing segment of homelessness is women and children. The typical image of a homeless individual is usually the white male who's in his 50s and 60s, but that is so unrealistic in the world today. It was almost 3 years ago that we launched the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. And one of the reasons why we launched it was because we looked at the San Fernando Valley, home of some 1.6 million people, but between 10 and 12,000 homeless on any given night. LA County, you have 82,000 homeless people any given night. Whoa. That's almost enough to fill the LA Coliseum. But yet right here in the San Fernando Valley, we said we need to make a difference. Downtown, there's some great rescue missions, but there was not a rescue mission here in the Valley. And so it was Robert Schuller who once said, if you want to be successful, find a need and fill it. And so we found a need, and the need was, while there's agencies that address the needs of the chronic homeless, those that may have dual diagnosis with mental illness and substance abuse, the fastest growing segment is those that are situationally homeless, and those are women and children who are displaced. They may be low-wage earners, and they lose a job, or a significant other walks out of their life, and now they get evicted from their place. Where do they go? They're sleeping in their cars. They're sleeping in parks and under bridges, and so we said we've got to make a difference. And so what's wonderful about with Ken Crawford is, his heart is to work out and to collaborate together. And so we've been collaborating with local churches, and we do that by, we opened up an emergency shelter. We now provide emergency shelter for up to 100 people every night, of which 50% are children. And the
Where's the shelter?
The shelter is, what's unique about it is we work with all the other social service agencies throughout the Valley. They refer people to us. They come to our Access Center, which is in North Hollywood. And then at 6 o'clock, what I did, I went out and I recruited 7 churches. And then within 2 weeks, we had those full. And then I went out and recruited another 7 churches. And so when the homeless guests come to us in the late afternoon, they have we have a shower program that we feed them, and then we have clothes. We give them everything they need. And then at 6 o'clock, we have a big bus, big diesel bus, and 50 people get on that bus, and we transport them to Church A. That bus comes back, the next 50 get on the bus, then we transport them to Church B. We provide the mats, the blankets, the security, the staff, the $1 million liability policy. At 5:30 a.m. we wake up all the guests, we get them on our bus, bring them back to our place, serve them hot breakfast, take the children to school. We have after-school work programs with the kids, but we can only do it in partnership with the local church. And we have 2 synagogues also that work with us. And we've said, we can work together. And the wonderful thing about this model, it's infinitely reproducible. As long as you've got churches and synagogues and houses of worship that are sitting vacant every night, and you've got people that are created in the likeness and image of God that are sleeping out in the elements, something is wrong. And so we can work together, and that's what we're doing. And working together with the LAPD as well to say, how can we, you mentioned maybe houses that aren't being utilized, they might be a blight on the community. Well, let us go in there, let us fix it up. We can put some families in there that can have a safe, secure environment for their children. And we require all of our children have to be in school. We require all of our adults have to be under case management. They have to save 70% of their income. This past year, we helped over 100 families get out of their situation and get to that next level. And so we've got some vision and some plans for the future, but we recognize that no one organization can do it. We have to work together and not compete against each other, but complement each other to augment the work that we do. And so we're excited about our partnership with LAPD and other organizations to further the good things that have already begun with the mission.
That is amazing.
Isn't it? What a program you've got. What a program.
Oh my goodness. And we owe it all to Chaplain Crawford. Oh my goodness. And Mr. Lee,
yes.
For the donating of the cartridges, what's your phone number?
My number is 805 522 4433.
Okay.
But have all the churches and businesses call you, and then you contact me.
Okay. Like that, like Wyndon. Okay. Thank you. Now, what is the, for Chaplain Crawford, what police division are you assigned to?
Well, I'm out of the Devonshire Division with Mike Scott there, and under our leadership of Captain Joseph Carreri, who's our commanding officer.
Shout out to Captain Carreri.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about with the San Fernando Valley Clergy Planning Committee